Bulls Nation, today is going to be a very interesting video and one that I think many Chicago Bulls fans will be very, very happy to hear. And this rumor has already been going around for a few days now, but it's my turn to take my opinion on it. I've talked about this player before and there's a good chance I'm going to talk about him again, but when news comes out, when there's reports coming out, it's important to discuss them. So despite this being a bit of old news, let's talk about Andre Drummond and their Bulls' interest in Andre Drummond in this video. Let's do it. And welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls video in relation to some trade interest in one of the players that I think many Chicago Bulls fans are looking to target, as he's a free agent in this coming free agency period, and also he is a very good trade asset that maybe the Chicago Bulls would look to bring over into Chicago. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Andre Drummond, which is the player we'll be discussing today. So where is this coming from? If you guys don't know by now, most of you should probably know this by now. Shams has reported that the Chicago Bulls are very likely interested in trading or acquiring Andre Drummond. Now, of course, with the way the Cleveland Cavaliers have been dealing with Andre Drummond, I still believe he has yet to play a game since that report that he will not play for the Cavs. I don't think he's played since then, obviously. So there is very, I guess, big trade for Andre Drummond to come. And it's good to see the Chicago Bulls are one of probably many teams, but definitely one of those teams up there looking to trade for Andre Drummond. And again, look, many people can report this and I'll refuse to listen. But when someone like Shams reports that the Bulls are interested in Andre Drummond, the Bulls are interested in acquiring Andre Drummond, I tend to listen to Shams and Woj and those types of credible sources out there. That truly means that we are interested in Andre Drummond. And again, this suits everything that the Chicago Bulls fans have been wanting for a long time. We've always said we need a true center in this team. And I'm one of those people that, yes, I know we need a true center on this team. I know that we need a 7-footer, we need a world-class rebounder, we need a defensive presence, we need a rim protector. But I also believe that that doesn't mean Wendell Carter is not important to this team. I would love the Chicago Bulls to trade Andre Drummond without putting Wendell Carter in a trade, because I still believe Wendell Carter has a big presence on this team. Whether it's coming off the bench, maybe if we do decide to play small ball against certain teams, like the Warriors did for a long time. The Warriors with Andrew Bogut, the Warriors with JaVale McGee, sometimes they went small ball and played Draymond at center, which allowed the Warriors to be unique in the way that they played defense and the way that they played offense. I believe Wendell Carter can do the same thing for us for the Chicago Bulls. If we need to play small ball, if we need a small ball center that can allow us to keep the pace, can allow us to make those quick, energetic plays or run down the floor, Wendell Carter can do that. And if we need a big, tall presence in that paint, ready to defend, then we can have a player like Andre Drummond that's ready to do that. I think this is a very good thing for the Chicago Bulls to target a true center, and that can help us lead the Chicago Bulls into more dynamic ways of playing, a variety in the defensive presence, especially in that center position, as well as maybe having a defensive-minded Wendell Carter and Andre Drummond playing on the same team. There's leaps and bounds of possibilities you could put onto this team when Andre Drummond plays. Of course, when Andre Drummond comes in, the caliber that he would start for this team pretty much more often than not. But it's always good to have that variety throughout the game. Now, just because we're interested, does that mean we will go after Andre Drummond? At the end of the day, I don't see why not. Why would we not go for Andre Drummond if we're truly interested in him? At the end of the day, the Cavs are looking for draft compensation. That was something we talked about a long time ago. That Andre Drummond it's draft compensation. They are also potentially looking to get expiring contracts to help free up their cap space as well. Because Andre Drummond, as much as he's on a player extension, they see value in him. So if we can give them a few players that could help their team, as well as a few picks, maybe Andre Drummond would be able to be here in Chicago right now. So it's going to be a very, very, very interesting target. We do have a few weeks, I think 2.5 weeks remaining of this trade deadline period where the Chicago Bulls are interested in trading for Andre Drummond. So we're going to have to wait and see how that happens. And something else I do have to say, I'm pretty sure Shams said not too long ago as well that the Bulls are very interested in Lonzo Ball. So once again, two very interesting players, two players I believe the Chicago Bulls have been talking about for quite some time. Two players that will come in and help this team. Imagine if we get both of those players. I'm not saying get both of them within this trade deadline. That's going to be giving up a lot of this team. And starting fresh from those two players could be good, but could also be very bad. So getting one of these players in and pursuing another one in free agency. And by next season, if we are able to have both of those players into this team, this is a completely different team. A team that has a lot of variety in the way they play. A team that's young and experienced. A team that has two very good players in Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond, potential all-star players. I believe Andre Drummond's been an all-star before. And obviously Zach LaVine is an all-star. He's playing in his all-star game, which will be today. So there's big things on the horizon if the Bulls are able to pull that off. If Andre Drummond is able to commit his future, if he does come here to the Chicago Bulls in a trade, or even next season, if we are able to pursue him to come to Chicago with, I'm assuming, a price that he can't refuse. There are many, many ways that this team can end up playing out. Lonzo Ball's a restricted free agent as well. There's some good things that the Chicago Bulls are doing right here. If we are able to bring those two players into the fray with the bench that we have, this team could be something serious. And that is the video that I wanted to discuss today. Andre Drummond is an elite player. We all know that. There are people within the Cavs and within Detroit as well, before he got traded in Detroit, that don't rate Andre Drummond, that believe he's not as good as people perceive him to be. And to be honest, none of those things really matter to me. What matters to me is that he's not going to be the best player on our team. He comes in, he does his thing, but Zach LaVine's the guy on this team. Andre Drummond coming in won't change that, which is the biggest positive I could ever ask for this team, because Andre Drummond doesn't need to be the star. He was the star in Detroit. He doesn't need to be that star. He could do his own thing, get his rebounds, get his buckets. For the Cavs, arguably the Cavs' best player, but he won't be the Bulls' best player when he comes into this team. Zach LaVine will be that guy. Larry Markkinen will be a scoring option. Kobe White is a scoring option. Andre Drummond will do his things on the boards, on the offensive rebounds as well, and get to these buckets there. This suits Andre Drummond, in my opinion, more than being the star on a team. He will be a guy that will do his thing, and will do his thing with little to no pressure on him because of all the people around him that people have to respect on the offensive end. I think this deal, if we are able to do it, if we are able to get a trade going for Andre Drummond, unless it's a really, really, really big potential player. I don't want to see Patrick Williams in the trade for Andre Drummond. I don't want to see Kobe White in the trade for Andre Drummond. I don't really want to see Wendell or Lowry. But again, I would like to see Andre Drummond on this team. If we have to give up Wendell, I think it's a trade worth doing at this time, but I don't really know how it's going to be perceived by Chicago Bulls fans, how the Chicago Bulls are going to perceive giving up Wendell Carter, or even if we need to do it. So we have a lot to look forward to. Again, 2.5, 3 weeks until the trade deadline. Andre Drummond is a target that most teams would love to have, and I believe most teams, maybe the Raptors is still a team that I believe will pursue Andre Drummond. There are many teams out there, I believe, that would want Andre Drummond. The question is, we've expressed our interest. Shams, someone that we all listen to, has said the Bulls expressed their interest. Will that interest become reality, or will that interest die out with another team's pursuit? We shall wait and see what the Chicago Bulls plan to do. I still don't believe we'll make a trade, and maybe that's my naivety, maybe that's my negative thoughts coming in. I just feel like the Bulls won't make a trade this trade deadline. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, so I do say keep your hopes up. Believe if you want to believe. If there is a trade that you believe will happen, by all means, believe it. But again, if it doesn't happen, I still think there's still a bright future next season with this free agency class, that the Bulls could still get these two players if they really desire to have them both. So we shall wait and see. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video with Andre Drummond being a big topic of discussion. We have a good few days, weeks to see what will happen. Take care and peace.